In here tonight. I'm Tom Kelly on behalf of my wife Sherry, who's back there checking people in and serving up water and coffee and everything. We welcome you. Thank you all for being here tonight. Memorial Day weekend, we're paying tribute to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, and we certainly appreciate that. A couple of thank yous. I want to thank our friend Vincent James, who let John Ford Coley use his keyboard tonight. And it was funny, the other thank you is for John Ford Coley himself, for being such an easy guy to work with. He's an extremely accomplished musician and actor and author and so forth. But he's just such a nice guy. And we bought him dinner and we said, well, you're from Texas and you live in Nashville. You want some sort of Southern fried? He said, no. I want Philly. He said, give me something Philly. So he had cheesesteaks, hoagies, a couple of pies, soft pretzels, and we even wrapped it up with Rita's water ice. So he got a taste of Philly tonight. So again, thank you all for being here tonight. Amanda has some announcements that we would like to make, and then we'll get the show started. Thanks again.
All right, welcome to the Kelly Center. I'm Amanda. Thank you for joining us for this very special event. We have complimentary coffee and bottled water in the back. We appreciate your donations. At the Kelly Center, BYOB is permitted. We just ask for a $5 per drinker donation to support the venue. Who are our first timers in the room? First time at the Kelly Center. Oh, a good number of you. Thank you. Okay. Well, if you don't know who we are, Kelly Music for Life is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our mission is to promote music, the arts, and community. We have programs for children, teens, and adults. You can also rent the space for private events. The Kelly Center features art and music you won't find anywhere else in this area. We also provide educational opportunities for students interested in music and technology. We are very proud to give valuable experience to students. Our sound and video techs tonight are high school students Danny Marley and Jack Carfrey. So give them a round of applause. Yes. Very talented young people. Just some housekeeping things. The restrooms are in the hallway right over there. The hand dryers are very loud, so just make sure that you use towels during the show. The Kelly Center is a listening room. It's my favorite thing about the Kelly Center. It's a true listening room where we really focus on the music. It's not a bar, it's not talking and being on your phone. So please silence your phones and step outside to make or take a phone call. Smoking and vaping is prohibited inside the Kelly Center. For our Artists of the month of May on our walls, we are featuring the work of Jenna Gash and Cassandra Lopez. Jenna is also a Haverford Middle School art teacher. Funding for the Kelly Center is provided by Haverford Township Civic Council, the radio agency, JMC Fund, the Connolly Foundation, and your contributions. If your company would like to support our work, you can contact us at kellycenter.org. If you'd like to make a cash donation tonight, donation jars are in the back, or you can use Venmo. It's at Kelly4Music, that's the number 4, under the business tab. For PayPal or credit card, you can go to kellycenter.org and click contribute. In the notes, type Kelly Center or use the QR codes on the donation jars. We have our house photographer here, Joel Perlish. He's the guy, yes, you may have noticed this guy walking around with a camera. We have photos from every single Kelly event on a photo link on our website. There's over 20,000 photos on there. And of course, if you grab Joel, maybe on the way out, he'd be happy to take a nice snapshot of you.
Hey,
and yes, what, Joel?
Professional photographers don't take snapshots.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joel. I'm sorry. Professional photos like this one. Thank you. I feel like I should be playing this. Okay. We have open jams at the Kelly Center. They are free to attend and participate. We have a bluegrass jam hosted by Alfred Poor on the first and third Tuesday every month. Second Tuesday every month at 7 p.m. we have Django and Friends Open Swing Jam hosted by Mike Fox. This Tuesday we have a folk song campfire jam. And starting June 8th, Irish traditional sessions, the second Thursday every month. Players of all skill levels are welcome to participate, and these are free to play or enjoy. Some upcoming shows and events. We have a lot of exciting things coming up. Next Saturday, we have Deep Roots Trio, and then on June 10th, the Havertown Irish Festival, a free outdoor event with 2 stages featuring Riley's Daughter with Tommy Conwell, the John Byrne Band, Jameson, Tan and Sober Gentlemen, Brian Fox on bagpipes, Emerald Isle Dancers, and more. The Irish Festival is my favorite, so you have to come out to that. Plus a crafter village, over 70 crafters, everything handmade. That's June 10th, 1 block down the road from here. And also in June, an adult comedy night with Jackie the Joke Man from the Howard Stern Show. He's a lot of fun. He's been here before. You can get all of the info on our event calendar at kellycenter.org, and you can also sign up for our newsletter for email updates at kellycenter.org at the bottom of the page. All right, but now, the moment we've been waiting for. He is an American singer, songwriter, guitarist, classically trained pianist, actor, and author. He is most revered as half of the Grammy-nominated duo England Dan and John Ford Coley. He has accomplished triple platinum and gold records for his work. He has performed with artists including Ambrosia, Three Dog Night, Lou Gramm of Foreigner, Christopher Cross, Poco, Stephen Bishop, Al Stewart, and Edgar Winter. We are honored to have him here. Please welcome to the Kelly Center stage in Havertown, Pennsylvania, John Ford Coley.
What'd you stop for? That was sounding really nice, man. How you guys doing tonight? Can I please get this turned up in the monitors or somewhere? Can you hear this? Okay, good. So again, this is your first time for a lot of you, huh? Me too. We simpatico, you know, we got something in common here. And as far as the Mexican food thing that they were talking about, guys, come on, Lyle Lovett said it best. You can't get good Mexican food north of the Red River or east of the Mississippi. You can't. I live in Nashville. It's the worst garbage you've ever seen in your life. So when they said, would you like Mexican food? And I went, in Pennsylvania? Jeez. Okay, so how many of you have never seen me play before? Where the hell you been the last 40 years? Goodness gracious. Okay, for those of you that have not heard me play, let me just kind of give you a little an idea of how things go. First of all, I tell a lot of stories. I'm a Texas boy. I got stories out the, And going to play some songs you might have heard before, some songs that Dan and I had done. Was going to play some songs you remember or might not remember, because I kind of like to go a little bit deeper into the records sometimes or play something new. Guys, I don't know how it happened. I'm not really happy about it whatsoever, but somewhere along the line, I just happened to get a little bit older. That means the chances are pretty doggone good up here that I just might play some songs that absolutely none of us have ever heard before. You see me staring off into space, don't worry, I'll come back. I'm just waiting for the ginkgo and the B12 to kick in. So here we go. How it all started, I hardly remember. Casual walk through the park in the winter. All that I wanted was someone I could talk to. It had to be you. The wind was cold, we huddled together. Looking back, I should have known better. Wasn't it me who said I never fall for anyone? Yeah, and look what I've done. Gone too far and I don't know how I did it. Gone too far and I hate to admit it, but I spend all my time thinking of you. Gone too far, there's nothing I can do now. Gone too far, it'll work out somehow. but I spend all my time thinking of you. Seems before I didn't know what was missing. Maybe I did, but I just wouldn't listen. Wasn't it me who said I'll never fall for anyone? Yeah, and look what I've done. Gone too far and I don't know how I did it. Gone too far and I hate to admit it, but I spend all my time thinking of you. Gone too far, there's something I can do now. Gone too far, it'll work out somehow, but I spend all my time thinking of you. Maybe somewhere along the line I knew this would happen to me. Now I look in those smiling eyes, and for days now that's all I can see. Gone too far and I don't know how I did it. Gone too far and I hate to admit it, but I spend all my time thinking of you. Gone too far, there's something I can do now. Gone too far, it'll work out somehow, but I spend all my time thinking of you. Here's one you might remember. Sing along if you know any of these songs. Turn on the radio. We'll play way down low. It's a tear in your eyes reflecting the fire's glow. And I wish this night would never end. The sun ain't gonna be my friend. Lying here waiting and wishing I knew when. Everybody sing. We'll never have to say goodbye again. We'll never have to say goodbye again. You must leave, I know you will. I won't let you go until you show me some secret for making this time stand still. And some way, somehow from now, together again somehow, all of the waiting will seem like a moment, and then, here we go. We'll never have to say goodbye again. We'll never have to say goodbye again. The whole night, afraid to see the light, and the whole day crying, wishing I knew when. Here we go. We'll never have to say goodbye again. 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 Thank you. You know, I was just kind of looking at you two, three down here. You're kind of in a bad spot. Because sometimes I kind of get to going up here like a Pentecostal preacher, kind of spitting and spraying and stuff, and you're just right in a direct line of fire. So the symptoms are if you suddenly develop this inordinate craving for pie, go to the doctor. Okay, you have been infected. Like I said, I tell a lot of stories. Part of the country that I came from, you can probably tell that I am not from around these here parts. It's pretty obvious. But years ago, Dan and I were in Hawaii. Dan had just gotten married. He didn't want me there at all. We're playing a gig, so I kind of got to be there, you know. And so I would go in and I would show him songs. So I walked in one time and I showed him this song. And he listened to it, and after I was done, he said, John, he said, man, hands down, I think you have got to be about the most depressing human being I've ever known in my life. You don't understand. I'm an English lit student, man, so I'm studying all these dark things, existentialism, Dostoevsky, Camus. It was like somebody just reached down and kissed me on the head when he said that. And I said, well, thank you. Thank you very much. And he said, no, he says, I'm serious. Can you ever write anything that's maybe a little bit lighthearted, a little trite and banal? You know, we need a hit. And it's maybe something like Casey and the Sunshine Band or something. And I said, I am a professional. I can't do that. So I brought him back this song. Now, you got to understand, most people think that musicians, we just do this for love. Yeah, right. We do it to make money, okay? So we all want to be rich so that we can, you know, do stuff that other people get to do. And so I came back with this song. This song actually did something good for me. It's the first song that I ever made money on. Is this thing shorting out? Okay, we got an issue with this thing. So as a matter of fact, I still have my first check from BMI. Now BMI is the company that when you play something on the radio, they log it and then they send the money to BMI. My first check is on my wall. Whopping 54 cents. I got that sucker. They're going to be missing 54 cents in their accounting forever and ever. I ain't giving it back. So, like I said, I think I'd made it like $1.98 on all the stuff that I had done. So this song actually was the first song for me that I made money on. And it's not important. Maybe it was only enough to power spray my driveway. It's the fact that I made money on a song. So this is about as trite and banal and insidiously inane as I can possibly get. Still get up in the morning, look at myself in the mirror, have any kind of self-respect at all. So you'll probably see me involuntarily roll my eyes through some of the lyrics on this song. I just can't believe that they came out of me, you know, Mr. Russian dark guy. So kind of goes like this. Seems I remember her best when the moon's high. On the horizon she waits where the sea touches the sky. Make up for time we've lost, days gone by. And we'll walk the beaches, live the way the island teaches. Oh, westward wind, filling my sails and giving me time to spend with you again. Oh, westward wind, like a dream coming back again. Then I'll gaze into your eyes of blue. It's been such a long time since I was there with you. Think of 100 things we can do when the days are long and nights are filled with smiles and laughter. Oh, westward wind, filling my sails and giving me time to spend with you again. Oh, westward wind, sail away like a dream coming back again. Back about 1977, well, let me just kind of back it up a little bit. To get the first record on the radio, you got to kiss a lot of babies. I guarantee you. And so we got the first one on, and it was hard. Then the second one, they just kind of give you because they figure, okay, let's see what else they can do. The third one, that's harder to get than the first one. And kissing babies doesn't help. So we ended up getting the third one. Radio's happy. We're happy. The record company's ecstatic that we got a third one. All of a sudden, for some unknown reason, a bunch of people start calling the radio station and saying, you know, you should not be playing that song. That's a song about cheating. I'm young and stupid out of Texas. Just went right over my head. I thought it was a comedy song, you know. And so radio stops playing it. We stopped playing it. There's no reason to play it anymore if the radio's not going to play it. So did not play that song again until I got invited to the Philippines in 2000. And they said, you know, we want you to play these 7 songs. And I went, okay. They said, no, they're not necessarily big hits in the States, but they were huge here. And I said, okay, fine. They sent me the list, and I went, yeah. Oh, nope, sorry, can't do that one. And they said, well, why not? There was a big song here. And I said, well, you know, it's a song about cheating. And they said, oh, well, we don't particularly care. We like that song. And I thought, dang, I'm glad you guys are our allies, man. That's cool. So I said, I'll tell you what, let me pray about that. Let me think about it. I'll get back to you on it and let you know. And so I did. Thought about this song for the longest time. And I called them back because I figured out that this song actually was not a song about cheating at all. This song truthfully taught a very moral, valuable lesson in the decadent 70s. It taught you how to never again have to pay another stinking alimony check, how to never again have to pay another child support payment. Essentially, what this song says is marry your second spouse first. Met you on a springtime day. You were minding your life and I was minding mine too. Lady, when you looked my way, I had a strange sensation, and darling, that's when I knew that it's sad to belong to someone else when the right one comes along. Yes, it's sad to belong to someone else when the right one comes along. Oh, I wake up in the night and I reach beside me hoping you will be there. Instead I find someone who believed in me when I said I'd always care. Oh, it's sad to belong to someone else when the right one comes along. Yes, it's sad to belong to someone else when the right one comes along. So we live our lives in a dream world the rest of our days. Just you and me walking hand in hand in a wishful memory. Oh, I guess it's all that it will ever be. Wish I had a time machine I could make myself go back until the day I was born. And I would live my life again, rearrange it so that I'd be yours from now on. Oh, it's sad to belong to someone else when the right one comes along. Yes, it's sad to belong to someone else when the right one comes along. Oh, it's sad to belong to someone else when the right one comes along. Sad to belong to someone else when the right one comes along. I mean, that didn't happen to any of you, did it? I mean, you don't have to raise your hand if you're sitting next to him or anything like that. But no, okay. See, now for me, that was a comedy song, okay? Because you're with the right one. But then the real right one comes along. But what happens if that's not the real right one, but the real right one comes along after that? Or maybe the real right one to say, see, this has been going for a long time. I just called it the non-commitment song. That's just what I thought it was. But, you know, it's interesting when I play songs like that, because I'm thinking about doing a version for the younger generation, because I didn't think that that song really got the shot that it should have gotten. But you got to kind of change things from generation to generation. So it's going to be sad to belong, to someone else, and put a little rap in there too. I was doing it on a Sunday, yeah. Anyway, never mind. You know, it's really kind of interesting because on that song, one night a lady was explaining that to me. And I noticed when I would go out and meet people that there was a little bit of tension sometimes. And I could never put my finger on what it was. And one night, I got hit right in the face with it. There's this woman standing there telling me about all these songs that she and her boyfriend in high school, and they loved them, and it meant so much to her, and da-da-da-da-da, and her husband standing there, and he went, Jesus. You know? And I thought, okay, I get it. So, just to let you know, the chances are fairly decent that the person you came with tonight might not necessarily be thinking of you during some of these songs. It's okay. Let it go. It was 40-something years ago, man. Let it go. Jeez. One of the things that, I mean, I've been a singer-songwriter most of all my life. There's only one little time that I did anything of value after that. And I worked in the courts in Los Angeles in child abuse for about 4 years. That was less than entertaining. But one of the things that I really enjoy doing, especially being a songwriter, is you have a great opportunity to just sit around and think. I love to sit around and think. You can literally be sitting on top of a mountain staring out into space and someone will come up and go, "What are you doing?" And you can honestly go, "I'm working." So I kind of got to thinking one day, we've got all these love songs, right? Everybody does love songs. Guys, they don't work. We've got so much hate and animosity and anger in the world. It just doesn't work, So I thought, I'm gonna start writing a bunch of hate songs. Use a little reverse psychology, take them into Nashville where they'll appreciate stuff like that. So I took songs like this to Nashville. When I think of good loving, ooh baby, your name just don't come up. I think of love all the time, just not yours and mine, so just go away, stay away, cough, choke, die. You would be absolutely mortified at how short-sighted they can be in Nashville. And I thought I was onto something. Not too long after that, a buddy of mine with the name of Alex Harvey. Alex wrote Delta Dawn and Foolhardy. That was another guy. He wrote Reuben James for Kenny Rogers and stuff like that. And he wrote one called "There's a $5 Fine for Whining." I thought, yeah, okay, I'm in the ballpark there, Even Vince Gill jumped into it. He wrote one called "It's Hard to Kiss the Lips at Night That Chew Your Ass Out All Day Long." So, good old Vince. But it kind of got me thinking, about some of those kinds of songs. And so this song was written by a friend of mine by the name of Byron Hill. And he wrote "Born Country" for Alabama and "Foolhardy Memory" for George Strait. He just wrote hit after hit after hit. And so he wrote this one. And I thought, you know what? I really want to do this song because it lets me know what the audience that comes to hear me wants to hear. Because, I play all these serious stuff all night long. And so this song actually is for anyone who lives in a house that has wheels. And it's going to let me know what you want to hear the remainder of the night, okay? Yes, I live in a single wide. Okay, that ain't funny. You got another chord? There we go. Okay, yes, I live in a single wide. Get up here takes a 4-wheel drive. I got a mean old dog named Sick'em Sam. Got a motor hanging from a tree, satellite dish and a trampoline. But that don't make me what you say I am. 'Cause there ain't no trash in my trailer that you might find an empty can of beer. No, there ain't no trash in my trailer since the day I threw you out of here. Okay, I think I got your number. You ain't nothing but a bunch of Yankee rednecks, man, I can tell you right now. They burn my trash in a big old drum. Some days I might shoot my gun. A car of yours on blocks, hard to miss. This place is like heaven now. It was something else with you around. So let them talk, say anything they want. Everybody sing. 'Cause there ain't no trash in my trailer. Oh, I know you want to. You might find an empty can of beer. No, there ain't no trash in my trailer. Since the day I threw you out of here. No, there ain't no trailer trash living here. Okay, you guys are too sophisticated for that stuff. Unless you want to hear this one. This one normally gets me shot at. This is so redneck. Byron wrote this one too. How's it go? I'm trying to think. It's a funny song. Not quite sure what I did just yet. Something kicked in on the night we met. Looks like her heart's out of control. What she's gonna do next, I don't know. She's already talking about a house on a hill. How does she think I'm gonna pay those bills when all I can afford is a 2-room shack? I took her to the moon and I can't bring her back. Where'd my fishing magazines go? Everywhere I look, there's another Cosmo. Kittens in the kitchen and a new bedspread. You tell me, was it something I said? Even old Blue's taking it rough. She clipped his nails and powdered him up. Her mind's running on a one-way track. I took her to the moon and I can't bring her back. Where's that girl that I used to know? The one who said we better take things slow. What on earth do I do now? Put her feet back on the ground. She goes to the mall but she never says why. Brings home things that a man won't buy. I already told her enough's enough. What we gonna do with all this stuff? She buys a bunch of soap that she won't let me use. Toilet seat covers and hand towels too. Kind you can't touch, just leave them on the rack. I took her to the moon and I can't bring... Okay, you've heard it. Yeah, let's try a different tune, just for the heck of it. You guys just pretend that I'm making a clothing change or something. Okay, the rest of the evening is going to be all of these songs you might remember, but in a Lithuanian disco polka version. I got to tell you guys a story. I did some acting a couple of years back. Now, I've been a musician all my life, so I wasn't accustomed to actors, just musicians. So the thing about the two is they are so diametrically opposed to one another, it's laughable. So you get out with a bunch of musicians, and normally when we would travel, you're gone anywhere from 10 days to 2 months. You meet these guys at the airport, and inside of 15 minutes of meeting everybody, there is no more jokes. There is no more fashion tips. There is no more anything except talking about music, which I really don't like to do. So none of them could talk about what I wanted to talk about, like nuclear fission and stuff like that. But now with actors, you get day players. So you've got new people coming in all the time. They might have 2 days, maybe 3 days worth of work. And so you're always getting new jokes, you're getting new understandings and fresh understandings of just about everything. So I was in a film. My first film was a thing called Scenes from the Gold Mine, and I played the drummer in the band. I had to learn how to play drums. Timothy B. Schmidt was the bass player in the band. We had a lot of good people in that. Remember Alex Rocco? He played Mo Green in The Godfather, the guy that shot in the eye on the table. And Steve Railsback, who played Charles Manson in Helter Skelter, and you couldn't tell the difference between them. And Joey Pantoliano, who went on to Sopranos, he was in Goonies and all those kinds of things. So it was a lot of really good people. Well, we had one young girl that actually is in the band, but she comes in and discovers that we're replacing her with Catherine Mary Stewart. And Catherine was in Last Starfighter and Night of the Comet and things like that. So she pitches just this horrific hissy fit. She's got 2 days worth of work to get this done. Just conniption fit, just goes crazy. So we have to throw her out. Now that young actress was Pamela Springsteen. She was Bruce's younger sister. The day we saw one another, we just connected like we were cloned at the hip. It was just like, it was a magical kind of a thing, brother and sister. And she's explaining to me, John, man, I'm working really hard. I'm trying so hard to get out from under Bruce's shadow. And I'm taking as many classes as I can and just becoming believable as I possibly can, so I'm working all the time. And I'm just encouraging her, going, Pam, just, you know the game here. It's all networking, you know that. And so the next day, she comes in. She sees me. She runs over to me. She grabbed me by the arm, and she said, John, I talked to my brother Bruce last night. He knows who you are. Said he would love to get together with you sometime. You guys could write, maybe play, even go out on the road, something like that together. And he told me to give you his telephone number. And I said, really? And she said, no, I was just acting. But did you believe me? Yeah, we really did become kind of like brother and sister after that. And I'm here to tell you, there will never be world peace as long as there's siblings in the world. Mark my words on that. So, as a matter of fact, one of the other things that happened on that film, there was this young girl. She had written a couple of songs in the film, and she did a good job, And so they liked her so much that they even made her a store manager in one of the scenes so she could get her SAG card. And you can't work without a SAG card. And so she kept talking to me all the time. John, man, let's write something together. I'd like to do that. And I'd go, oh, man, I'm not in the mood for it these days. Normally if I'm going to do something, it's going to be a project that we've got going or so. I just don't feel like I need, another song that's going to sit in my drawer. And she was very kind, very sweet, and very understanding about it. And we got along really well. And she said, well, maybe some other time. And I said, yeah, some other time. 6 months later, Melissa Etheridge is taking home Grammys. And I'm going, Johnny. So never say no. It's not a good idea. But this song I started playing several years ago when I was in the Philippines. They asked me if I knew Leader of the Band by Dan Fogelberg. And I said, yeah, of course I do. I don't play it out. I play it at home, but I only play the songs that Dan and I wrote or that I've written, and when we play out. And I said, why do you want to hear that song? And they said, well, we really like that song. And I went, oh, okay, I'll play it. So I've been playing it ever since. The problem is about 3 years ago, I damaged my hand, so my finger picking has gone to hell on a hand cart. So if I kind of mess up on that, just ignore it. Listen to the lyrics on the song. Now, the drawback is that for you, this is the tough part. You got to sing along. Okay, you feel like singing? Yeah. Cool. Well, we changed it up. We're doing it in Hebrew. So how many of you, can you do that? Okay, here we go. only child, alone and wild, cabinet maker's son. His hands were meant for different work, and his heart was known to none. Left his home and went his lone and solitary way. And he gave to me a gift I know I never can repay. A quiet man of music, denied a simpler faith. Tried to be a soldier once, but his music wouldn't wait. He earned his love through discipline, a thundering velvet hand. His gentle means of sculpting souls took me years to understand. Leader of the band is tired, and his eyes are growing old, but his blood runs through my instrument, and his song is in my soul. My life has been a poor attempt to imitate the man. I'm just a living legacy to the leader of the band. My brothers' lives were different, for they heard another call. One went to Chicago and the other to St. Paul. And I'm in Colorado when I'm not in some hotel, living out this life I've chose and have come to know so well. Thank you for the kindness, your stories of the road. I thank you for the freedom when it came my time to go. Thank you for the kindness, the times when you got tough. And Papa, I don't think I said I love you near enough. Everybody, leader of the band is tired and his eyes are growing old, but his blood runs through my instrument and his song is in my soul. My life has been a poor attempt to imitate the man. I'm just a living legacy to the leader of the band. I am a living legacy to the leader of the band. Okay, we're going to have to wrestle with this guitar tonight. I think it might be the pickup. Y'all okay? Everybody doing all right? Cool. Dan and I used to play in a rock and roll band back in Dallas. I think Moses was just coming out from Mount Sinai at that particular time. And so it's been a couple of years. But Dan and I had kind of a very unique musical experience, and a lot of it was colored just simply by the way that we were raised and stuff. Now, that ain't my fault. So Dan and I used to go down to a place called Dowdy Ferry Road, and Dan actually wrote a song about it, and it's a little bit different than what we used to do. He made it about this is the way that people live. What we used to really do was go down there and hunt cottonmouth water moccasins. It would kill them. Don't get upset. It's not like they're in danger or anything like that. But I almost got bit by one time, so it's like I particularly don't care for those things. They're ugly, they smell, and they're dangerous. So Dan wrote that song. Well, I kind of got to thinking about that because, again, you might not really notice it unless you listen to a lot of the new things that I've done. Because, again, we played so many different styles of music. We started off playing, with the Young Rascals, and then who else? The psychedelic era, then in the soul era, and we just ended up playing fusion jazz. We played with people like Led Zeppelin, believe it or not, and Vanilla Fudge, and Three Dog Night, and Poco, and all those guys. So it was kind of cool for us, but I kind of got to thinking about that song because, you see, having that background that people don't know that we have, when I play certain songs, they think, you shouldn't be able to play that. You're supposed to just stand there and look good, which was hard, and it's getting harder and harder all the time. So it's like, for me, I think, God, man, I don't think I could ever write really another love song, especially, at the age that I'm at. To think about, doing a song like I Want to Love You All Night Long, or Let's Make Love to the Morning Light. My first thought is, really? Really? Like, why, Wouldn't you rather maybe, take a power nap or, I don't know, smoke a cigarette, eat a bowl of Raisin Bran? I don't know. You can do all kinds of things. But, so this song was really not anything that anyone would expect of me, but Dan and I used to play these kinds of things all the time, so it was in our DNA. And my future ex-wife hates this song. I gotta tell you, she hates this song. That's one of the reasons why I really enjoy playing it as much as I do, But I got to thinking about those snakes. And I lived down in Charleston, South Carolina, so it was pretty easy to think about those. But this is on a new record that I did called Eclectic, and it's called Cottonmouth Grove. Sat down by muddy water near the path where a lover would go. Watched moss swell alive oak, swore he'd come, he did not show. She ran to find him in her haste, stepped right down on a big black snake, and she was gone, gone, gone. Every now and then somebody sees her, a mournful stare, a lifeless soul. I saw her once in a full moon, lost my heart, my self-control. She's a fever that comes at night. You know that you shouldn't see, you think you just might go down by the alleyway just about midnight. Walking by the water, feel your blood run cold. There she'll be, flowing in a wet mist, eyes on fire, hair black like coal. You know better, 'cause you've been told you're not who she wants, so don't go down in the Cottonmouth Grove. Comes a night and you get that feeling, chills run up and down my spine. Young man, don't go there, you're not prepared for what you'll find. If sirens call, will wreck your soul. The woman's gotta be 200 years old. Stay down by the alleyway just about midnight. Walking by the water, feel your blood run cold. Yes, she'll be flowing in a wet mist, eyes on fire. you've been told you're not who she wants, so don't go down in the Cottonmouth Road. You've been told you think she's an angel. I think the devil lives in Cottonmouth Grove. Down in Cottonmouth Grove. Down in Cottonmouth Grove. Being raised down in Dallas, Texas, I actually had family though from New Jersey. A long, long time ago, back before the Revolution. They actually left because one of them, I understand the story goes, he was very visionary, so he could see things into the future. And he came in one morning and he told the family, we've got to get out of here. We've got to get out of New Jersey. And they said, well, why? And we kind of like it here. And he says, well, I had a really bad vision. He said the only jobs in the future are going to be government-run toll booths and something called Dunkin' Donuts, whatever that is. That's a bad joke, I know. No, but seriously, I did have family there a long time ago. Being raised in Texas, though, I wasn't raised like everybody else around me. All the people musically were raised on, country music, Buck Owens and Bill Anderson and people like that. I was raised on a lot of show tunes, opera. As a matter of fact, I could not watch Paladin or Gunsmoke unless I first watched Lawrence Welk and Mitch Miller. Just kind of give you an idea. Daddy had a very dry sense of humor, and Mama had a very slapstick thing, so I kind of got both of them. My daughter looks at me sometimes and she goes, Daddy, you need to smile when you're telling some of these things. I think you're going to kill them. I go, no, not at all. So, but this is kind of how I was raised. That sort of stuff. But as a matter of fact, it was so much fun when I was growing up, because before I got into the band, I was doing a lot of classical recital stuff. So my piano teacher would give me these things, and I would play them, and it was so much fun because classical music is great for people with ADD. It just changes all the time. You don't have to worry about being stuck in one thing. So I'm playing things like this. That sort of stuff, you know. Now, here was the kicker. I get into the band not too long after that, and I find myself playing such great classics as I Got You, Babe. That was tough. But anyway, there's no way that kind of influence is not going to work its way into your music somewhere. So actually, those classical pieces worked into about 3 or 4 songs that Dan and I did. And this is one of them. And especially since this weekend is Memorial Day, this goes out to the soldiers, because this song, although it was written during the Vietnam era, it's not about war, and it's not about the glory of war or all the things that go on. It's about what it's like being a soldier coming back from those kinds of situations. So everything's changed. You've changed. Your friends are moved on. They've done other things. And you're just kind of trying to figure out life. So this song was written not like a regular song, which is verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, out, and you're done, 3 minutes. This thing was written in movements like a classical piece. So like the first movement might be, first movement. Second movement, entirely different, is third movement is like, the fourth movement might be something like oh no, forget that. That's Bach. If you hear that, you know I'm in the wrong song. So, but this again goes out to all those soldiers that have been heroes for all of us. And did anybody serve in Vietnam, by the way? Anyone here? Okay, well, if you did, this song goes out to you and all the men and women that served there. And this is a welcome home for them. Morning clouds gather around as I stand on the bridge of the river. Years have gone since I was here, and I'm wondering how I differ. Taxi cabs keep rolling by, and a blind man asks for change. Here I stand, a soldier in the rain. Coming home was all I thought of, seeing my family and friends. They say love knows no distance, the longing never ends. And all alone these dreams that possess my heart never were too plain. Here I stand, a soldier in the rain. had so many plans. Now I watch the river flow. Time has brought me here with empty hands. I remember years ago, I had so many plans. Now I watch the river flow. Time has brought me here with empty hands. Morning clouds are gathering and the streets are full of reflections. Traffic light and the moon still bright, people going in different directions. I thought about why I'm here, it's just too hard to explain. Here I stand, a soldier in the rain. Oh, in the rain, in the rain. Thank you. God bless our troops. You know. A lot of my family were soldiers. They fought with Lee, and they fought with Washington. They fought with Nathan Bedford Forrest. Fought with Patton. Fought with Houston. My family couldn't get along with anybody. It was always fighting someone, so do this. When they work for you, you gotta love them. Dan and I cut a number of songs on the Dr. Heckler and Mr. Jive album that the record company wanted to put out and make them singles on the radio and stuff. And they said, we want to do What's Forever For? And I said, no. I don't want another slow song, okay? Give me a man song. And so they kept going, well, it's going to be a hit. And I go, I don't care. I don't want to do it. So they didn't do it. Michael Martin Murphey picked up this song. We used to play with Michael back in Texas, in a place called the Ruby, a little small folk place. And he ended up doing this song. Michael and I don't really talk a whole lot anymore. No, we were really happy for him. Michael's a really good guy. He's a great artist. And if you haven't heard some of his earlier work, go back and get his earlier work because it's masterful, truthfully is. So anyway, he made a big old hit out of this, but it's okay. We had the hit on it in the Philippines. You know, I'm good. So it kind of goes like this. I've been looking at people and how they change with the times. Lately all I've been seeing are people throwing love away and losing their minds. Maybe it's me that's gone crazy, 'cause I can't figure out why all these lovers keep hurting each other when good love is so hard to come by. What's the glory in living? Doesn't anybody ever stay together anymore? And if love never lasts forever, tell me, what's forever for? And I've been listening to people, and they say love is the key. And it's not my way to let them lead me astray. It's only that I want to believe. What's the glory in living? Doesn't anybody ever stay together anymore? And if love never lasts forever, tell me, what's forever for? 'Cause I see love-hungry people trying their best to survive. Well, in their heads they dream of romance, they could keep it alive. What's the glory in living? Doesn't anybody ever stay together anymore? And if love never lasts forever, tell me, what's forever for? And if love never lasts forever, tell me, what's forever for? Thank you. I think I might have been wrong. But that wasn't the last time. So we had another song. Well, actually, what happened was I had all these songs, so I can't play all of them anymore. At one point, I didn't have enough songs. I was scratching for anything that I could play, especially as a solo artist. And now I've got so many, I can't really put them all in. Probably a lot of songs that you want to hear, like Smoke on the Water or, you know, Stairway to Heaven, but, you know, I'm sorry, you know. But this was, I decided to do a couple of them and kind of put them in kind of a medley sort of a thing, kind of tell you the story behind them. This next song was written by the guy who wrote Sad to Belong, Randy Goodrum. Randy also wrote Oh Sherry for Steve Perry and just all kinds of great songs, but they were all slow. So we did this one, and they wanted to put this one out on the radio, and I went, no. So Anne Murray picked it up. And Ann's a sweetheart. We worked with her back at the Troubadour for about a week, and she was just a darling. And so we were really happy for her, so I'm going to play a piece of that. And then there was another one that was in competition with the first song that I played, Gone Too Far. They put them out on the radio and said, okay, we're going to see which one of these things draws the most attention. And Gone Too Far won. But I really liked the next song, but Karen Carpenter grabbed hold of it. So you don't know how much I love Karen. Karen was an absolute, love that lady. And I said, I can never do that song again. Good Lord, man. How do you follow Karen Carpenter doing one of these songs? So, okay, so we put it in the middle. I did it in the Philippines a lot, but not here. I do a lot of things in the Philippines that I don't do here. Some of them we won't talk about. But then there was a song that Dan and I did in a film called Just Tell Me You Love Me. And never did anything here. Just, you know, it was Robert Hedges and Lisa Hartman, who married Clint Black. And so this song, we just did it. It was written by Carol Connors and Dick Halligan. Dick Halligan was the trombone player in Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Remember those guys? So I get to the Philippines, and this is one of the songs they wanted to hear. And so I'm just playing it. All of a sudden, it hits the chorus, and the audience is singing that rascal back to me louder than I'm singing with a microphone. And I'm real spontaneous. I just stopped and I said, how in the heck do you know this song? Nobody knows this song. Well, I discovered that night that all of Asia and every school child in Asia knows this song because it was huge. So when I go over there, I just step back and let everybody else sing, and they know it. So this was called Just Tell Me You Love Me. And then I'm going to try one. Dan and I had a song in Japan, our first #1 thing called Simone. And it was really cool because we got to go over there with Three Dog Night. And we'd played with them a long time ago back in Texas. But these guys now have all of these massive hits. And I learned the greatest lesson from those guys. I would stand on the side of the stage and I would watch them play a hit. Then they would play another hit. Then they would play a bigger hit. Then they would play a huge, bigger hit. Then they'd play just a hit again. Then they'd play another huge monster. It just went on, like 18 songs. And I remember standing on the side of the stage going, good Lord, man, what a blessing. What a curse. You can't play anything new. You know, everybody wants to hear Jeremiah was a bullfrog. And so they're kind of relegated to that. As a matter of fact, a couple of months ago, I saw Danny Hutton. He was one of the 3 singers in Three Dog Night. 80 years old, looks great. He's the only original guy in there now. Michael Alsop, the guitar player, has got arthritis, so he can't play guitar anymore. But Danny sounds great, looks great, so I mean, there's hope, you know. But so I'm gonna do that song. But we got to tour with those guys for all that time, and it's kind of fun visiting. And the funny thing about it is that when Dan and I opened for them, about 4 years later, they split. Called it. Corey Wells, one of the other singers, ends up opening the shows for Dan and I. And he was such a good guy. I mean, so anyway, there is life out there. So let's see if I can do some of these things for you. You might remember them. This is Anne Murray. But we had it first. And every now and then I cry. Every night you keep staying on my mind. And all my friends say I'll survive. Just takes time. But I don't think time is gonna heal this broken heart. No, I don't see how it can, well, we are still apart. A million miracles could never stop the pain and put all these pieces together again. No, I don't think time is gonna heal this broken heart. No, I don't see how we can, or we are still apart. And when you hear the song, I hope that you will see that time won't heal a broken heart in me. Then Karen Carpenter did this one. Autumn days, lying on a bed of leaves, watching clouds up through the trees. You said our love was more than time. It's colder now, trees are bare, the nights are long. I can't get warm since you've been gone. And I can't stop singing sad songs. Where do I go from here? Tell me, where do I go from here? You said you'd take me through the years. Where do I go from here? And this was us in the Philippines. Many times I wish you were here. Through the velvet shadow of my dreams, many times I wish you were near. Through the darkness as it came, but it seems that you never said what I needed to hear. Just tell me you love me. Whisper words I so long to hear. Let this time not be borrowed. Let it be ours to share. And if you tell me you love me, it could lead the way to your heart through the mirrors of silence. You love me. And then this was Simone, why do you cry? Don't you know the sun will shine? And on your mirror so you'll find reflections good. Oh, I said you would. Simone, why do you cry? Don't you know the tears will dry? And know that where there's happiness, reflection's good. Oh, I said you would. You've been searching everywhere for something to believe in. You've been searching, it's never there. Read your own book and you'll know. Simone, why do you cry? Don't you know you gotta lie? Simone, why do you cry? Don't you know you gotta lie? So that's a little bit of history. Have you got any song that you might be wanting to hear?
Yeah.
Freebird. You know, one of the things that you don't know about me, and they didn't really put this into the resume or stuff, is how far I can spit. So, I'm joking. Let's see. When I was a lot younger, like 6-8 months ago, when I was in college, I had a staggeringly beautiful girlfriend. She was just so magnificent. And the great thing about it was that we never fought. In the entire time that we went together, we never had a single fight. And she was an actress. And she had already done a couple of films. She was an Argentinian British actress. Olive skin, just absolutely beautiful. And so she was being noticed. And then they picked her up to do a film, a Franco Zeffirelli film called Jesus of Nazareth. And she actually played the mother of Jesus. That was when I broke up with her. You can't imagine how hard it was to tell my friends that I was dating the mother of Jesus. So, but I think we could have probably had a very long-lasting relationship. I really do. If we'd ever met, but we didn't meet. Some things just don't like being slapped around. You know? So I was watching a Dallas Cowboys game on a Monday night, know. I was wondering how long it'd take, you know. Well, I mean, you know, it was really interesting tonight. He was talking about they got me this and they didn't get me Eagles tickets, you know, for the season. So I'm kind of disappointed. You know, it's really interesting because, well, it's maybe not so interesting, but I was kind of a Cowboys fan, you know, growing up because we had right there and it was like you knew and everything. And then I stopped watching football entirely when they did what they did to Tom Landry. It was like, no, man, this guy, he's won so many things, such a great guy, and you just pretty much, he comes in and finds that his name's not on his parking spot anymore, and that's about it. So it was really kind of an odd thing because I went into Baltimore about 15 years ago, and I had on a Cowboys hat. And so the guy who picked us up said, oh, you're a big Cowboys fan? And I said, no, not at all. And he said, well, you're wearing their hat. And I said, oh, no, that means I'm a descendant of Abraham. This doesn't mean that at all. And so he says, so you got a good team. You live down in Nashville. You got a good team down there? And I said, yeah, that's what I hear. I saw him one time. That was about it. And he said, well, man, we got a great team up here. And I said, who's that? I'm messing with the guy. And he said, man, Baltimore Ravens. And I went, Baltimore Ravens, Baltimore Ravens. I said, oh, you mean the Baltimore Thugs? He got so angry, and I thought, I'm going to end up walking to the hotel, and that's a heavy suitcase, you know. But I mean, you know, I say the reason people watch football is simply because they don't know about bull riding. If you knew about bull riding, you'd drop the whole thing and go, okay, I'm going to watch. These guys can get killed out there, man, and hooked and gored and everything. I used to work at the rodeo. As a matter of fact, everybody thinks that, you know, musicians, we're not in the limelight anymore, so we're probably just living off stock options that we've had, you know. The only stock options I had was when I worked at the rodeo, and I had the option of either loading up the bulls or the bucking horses. That's the only stock options that I ever got. So, but anyway, this song. So I wrote this song for Olivia Hussey, and I'd never met her. And a friend of mine knew both of us. So he called her up and he said, John wrote this song for you or about you, and he played it for her. I got the sweetest letter from her. I mean, it was so nice. She even had it hand delivered to my door. Well, it was actually kind of more like a cease and desist letter, but from her attorney. But I could tell she was touched. I really could. So do this for Livy. We put this on the Dowdy Ferry Road album. Like this train's moving oh so slow. Maybe I'm just in a hurry. For hours I've sat in this chair alone. My eyes like the weather are blurry. And I thought all the way, but the things we've done, I hope I can help you remember. And night after night, when the sun had gone, we sat on the beach and counted the falling stars. Stars, counted the falling stars. must be hard for you. There's nothing here I would have traded. And all of these things we were going through could now be gone if you'd waited. So most often I think about the times in the past. And I hope I can help you remember. And night after night when the sun had gone, we sat on the beach and counted the falling stars. Stars, counted the falling stars. Stars, counted the falling stars. Several years back, I wrote a book, a thing called Backstage Pass. It's not about drugs, sex, and rock and roll. It's just about all the ridiculously crazy, insane things that go on in a musician's life out on the road. And there was a story, actually, that kind of inspired me to write the book, kind of got it started. And I made it the first story in the book. So I was playing out in Sodom and Gomorrah West. You call it California. I live there. I call it Sodom and Gomorrah West. But after I'd finished playing, there was this really nicely dressed lady comes up, and she's kind of corporate looking, kind of lawyerly looking, and all dressed in black and very serious. And she had one of the old LPs, remember those big old LPs? Some people still bring them out. And so she reached up, put that thing pretty close to me, took me by the hand, and systematically began to squeeze my hand just a little bit tighter. And then she got pretty close to me in my face, and in a very sweet, gentle, loving voice, she said, "I want you to know, my fiance and I fell in love to your song, Nights Are Forever Without You. We danced to the song, we loved to the song, he proposed to me to the song. We did just about everything to that song." Not being remotely interested in what that lady's everything just might possibly include, I just politely said, "Well, thank you very much." That lady's head, honest to goodness, morphed into Satan right in front of me. Got about that big, got about that far from my nose, squeezed my hand. I thought I was in a hydraulic press and she was going to break it. And then in a voice I didn't recognize as coming out of her before, she said, "And then that blankety blank so-and-so left me. And I've hated your song ever since." I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I don't get shook easy. The only thing that I could do was look at that girl and go, cool. So I certainly hope that we don't have to perform any exorcisms anyone tonight and play this song. As a matter of fact, you can reach over and, grab the hand of the person next to you. You might want to ask them first, because You might be holding some guy's wife's hand, and that only works in Texas. So I'm joking. So anyway, hope you remember this one. If you want to sing along, sing along. Lying in bed with the radio on, moonlight falls like rain, soft summer nights spent thinking of you. When will I see you again? Soft and low the music moans, can't stop thinking about you, thinking about you. Didn't know it would be so strong, waiting and wondering about you. Didn't know it would last so long. Nights are forever without you. The curtains still dance with the wind and the sky. The sun will be coming up soon, but I just can't sleep. I'm thinking of you, here alone with the moon. Soft and low the music moans, can't stop thinking about you, thinking about you. Didn't know it would be so strong, waiting and wondering about you. Didn't know it would last so long. Nights are forever without you. 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 Thank you very much. You know, it's very interesting for me because I've been doing this for such a long time. Such a long time. I started when I was 15, and I'm 74 now. So it's a long time to spend on the road. So you collect a lot of stories. And the one that I really enjoyed the most was I get asked still, is that I'm not talking about Millennium, Wiggling, M&M's. I get a couple I can't repeat in polite company. The story that I love to tell is that because we only go out on weekends now. You get these old guys, and we just go out on weekends. We're not going, 10 days or 2 months anymore. And so we played Chicago. We were going to play in New Jersey. So it was, who was on that thing? It was Orleans was the backing band. It was Christopher Cross, Gary Wright, Firefall, Player, me. Now Ambrosia I've done other things with Stephen Bishop and Peter Beckett from Player. But so they didn't want us to come home. They wanted us to go to New Jersey and spend like 4 days in a hotel. Okay, fine. I know how to do that. I've been doing it all my life. So I put that do not disturb sign on the door, and I'm kind of serious about it. I just want to be left alone. I want to read, play my guitar, sleep, and just work on the computer and stuff like that. The maid kept slipping notes under my door. Would you like your sheets changed? Would you like fresh towels? I'm a guy, okay? I don't need my stinking sheets changed after one night or 2 or 5 or 25 if I feel like it. I live alone, okay? As far as towels are concerned, you guys back me up. We will dry off on those things until they turn crusty and will stand up in the corner by themselves. And we throw them out and buy a new one. I'm a guy. I know how it works, okay? So she sees me coming out the door. She's beelining it down the hall, and she's screaming, "The linen, the linen, the linen." And I looked at her and I said, "No, that's not the lyric either, but that's a good try." So for those of you that have not been able to figure out the lyric on this song after all this time, even with all the computers and everything else, really simple, goes like this. I'm not talking about men. Sing with me. You probably know it better than I do. Here we go. Hello, yeah, it's been a while. Not much. How about you? I'm not sure why I called. I guess I really just wanted to talk to you. And I was thinking maybe later on we could get together for a while. It's been such a long time, and I really do miss your smile. I'm not talking about moving in. Moving in, okay, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around. Your turn. All right. You know that lyric? Could go walking through a windy park, take a drive along the beach, or stay at home and watch TV. You see, it really doesn't matter much to me. I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight. I won't ask for promises, so you don't have to lie. We both played that game before. Say I love you, then say goodbye. Everybody, I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight. Again, I'm not talking about moving in, and I won't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight. One more time. I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see you. Ooh, I'd love to see you tonight. Ooh. God bless you guys, man. You kept me working a long time off of that one. Thank you. Thank you. Back in November, I got to play the Grand Ole Opry for the first time. And I played that song, and Love Is the Answer. And how many of you been to the Opry? Okay, so you know the old Ryman Theater where the Opry, Grand Ole Opry was originally filmed, like 1946 or whatever it was. They ended up moving it over to another place. I can't think of the name of it at the moment. But they took a big circle out of the original stage, and then they put it onto the floor of where they've moved the Opry to, the Opry House. And so everybody that goes there and plays, that's the featured artist, they stand in that circle. Now, I don't get nervous doing this. I haven't gotten nervous, and I can't remember when. But when I played the Opry, I was pacing like a fool. I was so scared and so nervous. Then you step on stage and you go on the road and you know what you're doing. You don't even think about it. But Bill Anderson had gone on stage before I did. And I'm sitting there, and he comes over to the side, and I stepped on the stage, and I thought, damn, I just shook hands and was talking to Bill Anderson. Just like I was a childhood guy, you know. Well, the only point that I got really kind of nervous on stage was I looked down at that circle, and I realized the number of people that have gone through that I'm now standing where they stood. But the one that really registered in my mind, believe it or not, she was a distant cousin of mine. And she played the Opry for years. You might remember her. She went under the name of Minnie Pearl. So, you're playing the same spot and you just got, geez, man. So that was a lot of fun. And also, we played Love Is the Answer. Now, that's about as country as geez, I've heard Lithuanian music that was more country than that. But, so the guy played the soprano sax. And I told everybody, yeah, you never, it's the first time anybody's ever heard a soprano sax on the Opry stage. I said, yeah, that's the banjo of the rock world, So, but let me tell you another story. How many of you been down to Charleston, South Carolina? Okay. If you ever go down there, there's a really cool place called Boone Hall Plantation. This was a plantation back in the 1600s, and a part of Gone with the Wind was filmed there. Patriot, Forrest Gump, North and South. All these films were kind of shot there. Well, they've got an organic farm. So now they take all of their organic food and they put it across the street at a place called Boone Hall Farms. I'd go in there all the time. One day I was there looking at the jams and the jellies because they made some really good stuff. And I looked over to the right, and there was, in the fruits and vegetables, there was this really hippie. That woman she was such a hippie. She was probably a beatnik before then. I mean, so anyway, I just kind of went back to what I was doing, looking at the jams and jellies, and I feel a tug on my shoulder. I turn around. There's that little lady, and she's looking up at me, and she went, "Oh my goodness, it's you. It's really you." Now, there's no reason to know me after 1980. That's just dead issue. And she had her arm on my shoulder, and she said, "You know, your music, I grew up to your music. It had such an influence on my life and such an impact. It was like the soundtrack of my life." And she said, "I heard that you had moved down here, but I never figured that I would ever see you." And she said, "Your music was such an inspiration for me, and it helped me through some really tough times." Well, I was shocked, and I said, "Wow, that's really nice. Thank you very much." Then that little lady looked at me, and she so sweetly said, "And Mr. Buffett, Margaritaville was one of my favorite songs." Jimmy Buffett, give me a break, man. It's like, why not Sam Elliott or Kevin Costner or something like that? That would have been better. But as a matter of fact, I used to get mistaken for Sonny Bono quite a bit. And I know for a fact that he got mistaken for me on a couple of instances as well. But I kind of put that one to bed because the Seals and Crofts, we used to travel with those guys. Well, Cher would come out with those guys. And so one night, Cher and I were sitting across one another at dinner. We're just sitting there, you know, and she never said a word to me about looking like Sonny whatsoever. Not at all. And so I thought, okay, that's put to bed. She doesn't even think about that. So I noticed that she kept staring at me the entire night, just kind of stabbing her fork into the table, you know, but she never said anything about me looking like him at all. So that's a true story. All these stories, they may be embellished a little bit, but they're true. This last song actually was that Dan and I did. It was one of the. No, as a matter of fact, it was the only song in the top 10 in 1979 that was on the American charts that was not disco. If that alone does not prove to you that there is a living God, I don't know what you're looking for, but that was certainly evidence for me. But Dan and I, we started off in high school together. We didn't like one another when we first met. He was in an established band. They had a guitar player that quit, and everybody wanted a keyboard player except Dan. Dan wanted another guitar player. Well, I get the gig, and I'm a year younger than everybody else. Dan and I were just like, boom. We did not get along at all. And so we ended up having to ride to various gigs together, and we would just kind of sing to warm up. And Dan always would take the lead because Dan had such a phenomenal lead voice, and I would take the harmony on everything. And we got to where we kind of developed a sound, you know, doing Everly Brothers and Righteous Brothers and songs like that. And it just kind of kept growing. Well, it ended up Dan and I were closer than brothers. I mean, literally, we could read one another's mind from distances. It was kind of scary. And so we developed that sound, found out that we could play together like that, and became, you know, it just developed on its own. So I raised Dan's kids. He raised mine. I went through his marriages. He went through mine. We just kind of had a real support system. And the funny thing about it is that you hear rock and roll bands that are always fighting and, you know, fist fights and everything. Dan and I can't recall a single fight that we had because we were both reasonable. So somebody would come up with something. It's like, no, we'll just work it out. And we'd work it out, and we never fought, especially physically. And so it was a very good relationship. We traveled the world together. We had all these songs together. Dan went off after he and I split, and he went into country under the name of Dan Seals and had just some marvelous success. And then most people are unaware of the fact that in 2009, he passed away. He was 61 years old. He had lymphoma, and it took him. So I always do this song for him And also, we're going to include his brother, Jimmy Seals, because Jimmy actually is the one who gave Dan and I the name England Dan and John Ford Coley. And we toured with those guys for years. Jimmy was extraordinarily talented to the psychopath range. You know, it was just like, so we would go, we did a lot. But he taught me how to juggle. That was cool. So, God, we had some times. So anyway, this song is the last song I'm going to do tonight. We're going to be over here in a little while. I've got some merchandise, some new CDs and things like that. On one of them, called Sketches, is the last song that you might hear from Dan and I. We wrote that thing, but we never recorded it. And then I just finally recorded it. So I look forward to meeting you over here. Come over. If you need a hug, hey, I'm a big hugger. And thank you so much for coming out. It's been such a pleasure to play for you, and I hope that you got my sense of humor. It's a little warped, but thank you again. Name your price, a ticket to paradise. I can't stay here anymore, and I've looked high and low. I've been from shore to shore to shore. If there's a shortcut, I'd have found it. But there is no easy way around it. Light of the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer. Who knows why someday we all must die. We're all homeless boys and girls, and we are never heard. It's such a lonely, lonely, lonely world. People turn their heads and walk on by. Tell me, is it worth just another try? Light of the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer. Tell me, are we alive? Or just a dying planet? What are the chances? Ask the man in your heart for the answer. And when you feel afraid, when you've lost your way, when you're all alone, and when you're far from home, when you're down and out, when your hopes run out, when you need a friend, when you're near the end, love, we got to love, we got to love one another. Light of the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer. Light of the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, John Ford Coley. What an amazing evening. And thank you to all of you here in the Kelly Center. We appreciate your support and your contributions. He deserves that. All right. If you want to make a donation, you can put cash in the donation jars or use Venmo at Kelly for Music under the business tab, or for PayPal or credit card, go to kellycenter.org and click contribute. And in the notes, type Kelly Center. Please tell your friends about the Kelly Center. Who's coming back? Who's coming back to see more shows? Yes, thank you. We also have big free admission outdoor music festivals, and this year we are introducing crafter villages with over 75 crafters and artisans, along with great live music on 2 outdoor stages, beer gardens, food, fun for kids, and more. Join us for the Havertown Irish Festival on June 10th, Summer Fun Jam in Paddock Park July 22nd, and Haverford First Fest Music Festival October 14th. For info on upcoming events, go to kellycenter.org and click on Kelly Center concerts or festivals. Special thank you to our sound and video techs, Danny Marley and Jack Carfree. Yes. And thank you to Vincent James for the keyboard loaning. On behalf of Tom and Sherry Kelly and Paul and Susan Kelly, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your contributions. Please help us clean up. There are trash and recycling containers as the door as you exit. From the Kelly Center for Music, Arts, and Community in Havertown, Pennsylvania, I'm Amanda. Stay safe, play it forward. Good night. Thank you for coming.